The Vision Sprint is a one-day workshop where you and your team will formulate your why, your what, and your how. It's sort of a mixtape between business strategy and design sprint techniques, and it will give you and your team a clear set of focus areas and individual OKRs, or objectives and key results, to clearly execute on the plan that you've developed together. In this video, we will go through the fourth and the last chapter of the Vision Sprint, formulating the how. Previously to this exercise, you and your team have set a set of shared values, you formulated your why, and you all decided on a what, a clear goal that you and your team will achieve the coming 2 years. It's now time to say how you will reach this what. Yes, now it's all about execution. And in the Vision Sprint, execution is two things: focus areas and OKRs. Focus areas are what they sound like. They are areas of focus that you and the whole team can contribute to. And you align your OKRs towards these focus areas. Yeah, OKRs. OKRs stands for Objectives and Key Results. And it's a famous goal-setting method used by big companies like Google, for example. We will talk a lot more about OKRs in the upcoming videos, but for now see it as the individual execution towards the focus areas. Okay, previously to this exercise, your team decided on the what, and that is the first thing that you write on the wall, so that everyone relates to the 2-year goal when they are supposed to be writing focus areas. So you give your team 3 minutes to come up with as many focus areas as possible. And these focus areas are important that they are written in the 2-year time span. And a good example of a focus area is something that everyone in the team can contribute to. It could, for example, be something you want to change direction, go into a new type of market, digitalize something in the company, and so on. Okay, so now you have all these posters up on the wall, and there are probably more than only these. So maybe you need a bit of a structure now. It's kind of hard to get an overview of what the different suggestions are about. So the next thing you do now is try to categorize these suggestions into something we call the Foursquare. Let me show you how that looks. So Foursquare is basically 4 squares where you labeled each square one of the main areas of your company. So for example, products and services, customer user, people and organization, and another. So the task now for the team is to, everyone together, move the different suggestions from the first exercise into this Foursquare and move them to the place they think they belong. And you can also rewrite these names so they are more suitable for your team. And after this, it's time to vote. So in this exercise, we're going to use the technique dot voting to vote. So everyone gets 3 votes each, and they make dots on the different suggestions with a marker. And what you want to do now is visualize and rank the different suggestions. And the way you do this is a bit specific, so let me try to explain it here. So the vote is over, everyone has done that for about 3 minutes, and then you have various dots on the various post-its. What you want to do is try to center the ones that have the most votes, and then move the rest out from the center. So this one has 4 votes, that would be most in the center. This has 3 votes, 3 votes, 2 votes. And for the ones who has no votes or just 1 note, just move them outside of the squares. So this is done to try to visualize all these post-its that you probably will have and see where are we most in centered focus of. And also there's a difference in the focus for example, products and services and customer user. So the team now can talk about this result and then try to discuss which one they think they should take on. And in the end, this is a place where the decider of the team decides which note to take. Okay, so the decider picked one of these focus areas. So this is the first focus area you start to work with. And what you want to do now is to take these 2-year perspectives and bring them down to a quarterly perspective, so you can really drive execution with OKRs towards them. And the way we do this is that you just pick the winning one and you put them on a wall like this. You draw a timeline to the left of it, which has today here as milestone and 1 year. And we do this to create 2 different parts, so 2 halves along this timeline. And the exercise now is to give the team 3 to 5 minutes to write 2 suggestions. One focus area that has a 1-year perspective and one focus area that has the 2nd-year perspective. So basically you break up this 2-year focus area into 2 smaller parts and you prioritize which should come first. So when you're done, the first person walks up to the wall and sticks up their 2 suggestions of focus areas. Briefly just says what it is, no discussion at this point, just walks up. The second person then comes up and says, well, I think my focus area is a bit before this one, and here it's a bit after this one. So you basically just group them together. If there are 2 focus areas, for example, that are more or less the same, it's okay to group them together as well. So from here, you will get a timeline with all the prioritized suggestions for the first and second half. And you dot vote on these, and then it will look something like this. So here you have dot voted on the different suggestions. You have 4 points here, and you have 3 points here. So when you dot voted, you actually voted on the first half, the best of the first half, and the best of the second half. So it's actually 2 votes you do, with 3 votes each. And from the winning results here, you then pick the winning result here, and you just put that one below the blue one, and then you pick the winning results from this, and you just put that one here. You now have 3 focus areas: a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and somewhere in between. And what you do now is you draw a new timeline with these 3 focus areas. Remember the time perspectives. So this focus area is a 1-year perspective. And then you just redo the previous exercise with the first year and 2nd year, but now you write the first 3 months, the current coming 3 months. And then basically the time after that, 3 months and forward. So you redo the whole thing with the voting and the 2 suggestions from each person, and then you will end up to something like this. So here you are. Okay, so you've done this now 2 rounds. So the 2 first ones here was from the first round with the 1 to 2nd year perspective, and the second round was the coming year, the 3 months perspective and the time after that. So you kind of have a plan here now. You have the quarterly focus area developed that is having a story of why you have this focus area now. And that's exactly how you should look at it. Don't see this as a fixed 2-year plan. Here it's in the node and what the vision sprint is all about, and including how you work with OKRs. It is never around these long-term perspective and fixing that as a plan. It's about the short perspective, but it's important to have this story on why you chose this specific focus area. And in the normal setup of a vision sprint, people often take this thing like 3 times. So you pick probably 3 2-year long focus areas and you perform this exercise. And after that, the team sets individual OKRs, and by that shows how they each will contribute to one of these 2 or 3 focus area the current quarter. And remember that you can always redo this step of the exercise at any time. So 5 months ahead after this vision sprint, just sit down, look at the previous 2-year focus area, maybe you've forgotten something, maybe a new one has come up. Then just go into a room for 15 minutes, perform this story exercise, do the 2 rounds, and you will clearly articulate what you should do the coming 3 months. So I wish you the best of luck, and don't be a stranger. Keep us informed and ask us questions about the Vision Sprint and how you guys are doing. Thank you for watching.